Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and as you can tell, I lied in my last review of House on Haunted Hill, the remake from 1999 that I did enjoy. It's in my 69 favorite horror films, once again because I thought it had some solid acting by people like Jeffrey Rush, Chris Kattan. I thought Tate Diggs was even alright. Ali Lauder was fine. I thought it had some capable direction. I thought it had some good visuals, solid location, great music by Marilyn Manson, at least the Sweet Dreams song. Although some crappy CGI at the end, overall had some good humor, and it was an entertaining movie. And I said at the end of that review, which was a long review, I know, I apologize for that, I was not going to check out the sequel. I was not going to review it because I remember it not being that good, but the more I thought about it after seeing the 1999 version of House on Haunted Hill, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it another look. Why not? And it's a little bit better than I remember, but it's one of those films that I don't like it, or I definitely don't love it. I don't like it, but it's decent. For a direct-to-DVD movie, it's decent. I know that doesn't make sense. It's directed by a guy named Victor Garcia, which actually, I looked it up, he actually was one of the special effects crew on Hellboy. And get this, he's directing Mirrors 2. Yes, there's a Mirrors 2. Starring Nick Stahl and William Katt. You learn something new every day, I guess. But the sequel, which is weird because it was made in 2007, and House on Haunted Hill remake, I think did alright at the box office, but wasn't a huge hit. It did alright. I mean, 8 years later, you do Return to House on Haunted Hill. It was a very strange idea to do a sequel to that film 8 years later. But as we remember, or maybe not, in House on Haunted Hill, you had Ali Lauder and Tate Diggs' characters being the sole survivors. Now, the character Ali Lauder played, her character was Sarah. She's not in the movie, but her character is trying to call her sister. Her sister doesn't respond, and then her sister, our lead girl, gets a call saying that the Sarah character has killed herself. And she's sort of heartbroken about it because she didn't call back. And she's sort of in her room, and like she has an image of, it's not Ali Lauder, that's why for the most part they cover her face with hair, and then you like see like obviously a shot of her head being blown off, and you see like pieces of her face missing and stuff. And then sort of these mercenary-type people come in. One of them is a character named Desmond, which I thought he wasn't a horror. He was a decent. He was probably. I don't like the actors. Once again, I'm stumbling over words. I didn't like the acting. I didn't like the characters. The somewhat decent one was this Desmond guy, who was sort of the lead human bad guy, Eric Palladino. Got his name there so I can say it right. He was all right. I think he was on the TV show ER. He's been on a bunch of TV shows, but apparently the Sarah character had not committed suicide, that he had actually killed her. Because here's the plot. Basically, I'm laughing because it's such shitty, stupid, ridiculous. There's an idol, like Raiders of the Lost Ark type idol, where apparently the Jeffrey Combs character way back when had the idol and had it in his asylum, and the evil of the idol made him crazy and doing this crazy shit, infected him and his people, his homies, so to speak. And then they started experimenting on people, and then all that shit happened. And so they want Jeffrey Combs' diary, which I don't know why Ali Lauder would have. Her character would have, you know. Again, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially when you compare it to the original, and there was no mention of this from anywhere, shape, or form. It's just something they add in for bullshit reason, for a sequel, I guess. And basically they take him hostage to go back to the House on Haunted Hill to find the idol. It's like our lead bad guy, he has like mercenary-type guys, because if they find the idol, they'll sell it and get a lot of money. And when they get to the House on Haunted Hill, they find a professor and his two assistants, and then basically one of his two assistants turncoats on the professor and the girl's actually fucking the lead human bad guy. And basically they all separate to look around for this idol. Every time I think about it, I think of the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know, it's like, you know, when Indy got fucked over, almost ran over by the boulder. You know, in the Belloc. I forget what the hell he says to the natives. I just keep thinking of him holding that, Belloc holding that idol. I can't help it. That's probably not what I should be thinking of when watching a haunted house movie, because an idol is a fucking idiotic idea. And then basically, it's a body count movie. One by one, people get killed. And the reason I said it was somewhat decent is that if you like kills and gore, it's a good movie for you. I don't know why I keep looking all over the place. I did a bunch of other reviews in the past, but because I'm just visualizing the movie again in my mind, and it has some good death scenes. Weirdly enough, the first guy to get killed is a black guy, one of the mercenary-type guys. He's trying to hit thing in a hole, and this has a lot of gore compared to the 1999 movie. A hand comes in, like rips part of his stomach intestines out, and grabs him and pulls him through the wall, and he like breaks. If anyone remember the Blob remake with that guy from RoboCop the Deputy, he broke in half. It's kind of like that. It's like going. Another guy, there's like white sheets around. They wrap it around his arms, and he's like hanging like there, and they tear his arm off. Practical effect. They tear his arm off. Practical effect. And then like they tear the rest, and he's sort of like a little explosion of blood. And I know, why does he explode when they pull him apart? Well, because for the effect, I guess. But you get some good practical effects. There's another guy who's in a they put him in a wheelchair, and they cut a hole, and you see his brain, and they take his brain, they pull it, and they twist it, and they pull it out. Practical effects once again. Really good practical effects. And gore. It definitely has some gore. One of the other mercenary types is a lesbian. So she walks in, you see like two lesbian ghosts with titties hanging out, so you get your lesbian kissing and nudity. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm a guy. And then like she finds, of course, her dad. She runs. And Jeffrey Combs is back in the movie. He's the only one from the original, well, the 1999 movie back. And he's less he's more in the film, but he's much less creepier, because he just seems like a, you know, Dr. Giggles without the giggles. You know, it just seems like a regular guy. Nothing wrong with his face. Doesn't seem like a ghost, except the quick, maybe he does like quick jumps, you know. But in there, he was creepier in the 1999 movie because you never saw him clearly. Like you saw him on a TV screen, or you saw when Brigitte Wilson is looking at the camera and you've seen it through the camera. And you know, maybe the last time he was also when Jeffrey Rush is in that chamber and is going around, and you see little bits of Jeffrey Combs. And he just seemed much creepier. He seemed much more evil, much more like a ghost, much more sadistic. And here he's just like, not all of them, but a lot of the times when there's a death scene, he's there. And the lesbian girl, he just, which looks stupid. It's like, literally, if this is the girl's face, right? Jeffrey goes, you know, like fucking doing Matrix shit on her face. And it is a good effect, like her face sort of slides, like her face slides down, and then the skin hits the floor. Again, good death scenes, good practical gore effects. I gotta give it that. And there's one cool scene where the lady assistant who fucked over the professor and went with the human bad guy, the lead bad guy, she goes into her room, trying to escape, and what's neat is, I like the idea where the furniture slowly rises up, like all the furniture slowly rises up. But she turns around and she knows all the furniture, she's like, what the fuck? She doesn't say that, but I would be saying that. And then she looks up and all this furniture just starts slamming down on her, and it knocks her down, and there's Jeffrey Combs looking at her, and on top is a refrigerator that slams right down on her head. Big splat of blood. And it was an enjoyable death sequence, you know. Although this is a fucked up version of Looney Tunes. But I mean, you get some good death scenes and gore, and you get some nudity, and that's about it. So I don't like the movie. I don't love. I mean, it was a decent time waster. Like, if some people like it, I can understand, because you did some decent. I keep mentioning decent gore, death scenes, and some nudity. But again, that's all you got. Basically, they get picked up one by one. The asshole lead bad guy Desmond gets pulled into an incinerator, and you see him burn alive in CGI effect. And their whole idea is that, oh, it looks organic. It looks like they're going to the womb of the house. And there's the idol. I swear, it's like, don't pull it off. The fucking boulder will land on your head.